Hello, this video is about limits in CINAHL. So when you do your CINAHL search, you want to be able to set whatever limits you want. It's not so easy because it's not consistent from limit to limit. Okay, there are some kinds of limits you can set by article type, and scholarly peer-reviewed is a general one. It's just a checkbox after you do your search. Then the research and the qualitative we will show are in a separate screen, an advanced screen. Again, the limits by review type are not consistent. Systematic reviews is a special limiter that you can get to from the advanced screen, and integrative reviews have to be requested as an additional search term. So these are not consistent, but they're all very useful. So let's go live and we can show what some of these things are. Okay, we're going to go to our undergraduate nursing library guide, which is found at libguides.rutgers.edu/nursing_ugrad. I'm going to go to searching databases for journal articles and go to CINAHL. Okay, we're going to connect. And since we're off campus, they will ask us for a NetID and password. Okay, here we are at CINAHL with full text. Now let's do a rough cut search, just a kind of a general search. If we were doing this with a PICO framework, there are really only two things we know at the moment. And the first one is what group or target population we want to work with. And the other one is what disease entity or condition we want to explore. So let's deal with teens. Now, I don't know necessarily the subject heading for teens, so we're going to do this. And asterisk. Now, what does teen with asterisk do? It gets me teen and whatever comes next. So it's teen, teens, teenager, teenagers, all of those with one little asterisk. But that might not be the right term. So now I'm going to go for the adolescents. And again, I'm going to use the star. And it could be adolescent, adolescents, or adolescents with a CE, any of those, adolescent and whatever comes next. So I've covered all the terms I know. Oh, thank you. Covered all the terms I know about teenagers or adolescents. If there are other terms, great, we'll discover them as we go. Okay. The disease entity we're interested in is depression. And that is a huge literature, so let's talk about suicide. Okay, so we've got teens or adolescents, teenagers, adolescents, depression, suicide. Let's do a general search. Now, if you had done depression alone, you would have tens of thousands. But with suicide, it cut it down to 2,661. That's still a ton of stuff. So how do you get it cut down? Well, first thing is you probably don't want stuff back to 1978. So let's change that. And ordinarily I would just move the slider, but sometimes when you get close to 2020, the slider doesn't work all that well. So I'm going to type in 2015. It's going to get me the last 5 years of literature. And you can see we still have 967. Okay. Now, let's talk about, oh, a lot of these are full text. That's great. Okay. Let's talk about putting limits in. Let's do a general limit. Let's say I don't want clinical, I want scholarly peer-reviewed. So the question we're asking is how many of these 967 are scholarly and peer-reviewed? Or peer-reviewed, I should say. Okay, most of them. So now we have 907 scholarly or peer-reviewed. Okay. And you can see some of them are continuing education. Most of them are academic journals, which is our target. So 907 is what we got. They're all in academic journals. But do they fit what we are trying to find? And they might or they might not. So before we leave this particular screen, let me add one more row. How many of those 907 are integrative reviews? Okay, let's run our search again. And of those 907, only 2 are integrative reviews. Now, let's talk about getting our fingers on this stuff. By far the easiest thing for you to do is just limit everything to full text. You could do that. But in this case, you might want this integrative review. Sounds very useful. It is from, Okay, the problem with this one is 2 problems. First of all, you have to send away for it, which is fine. You can send away for things. But also it looks as though this might not be in English. So let's find out if it is in English, if it's worth sending away for. No, language is English. Okay, so it might be worth sending away for this. And in order to send away, you would follow this Get It at Rutgers, and it would send you to an interlibrary loan form that you would then fill out. Okay, now, here's one in English, Homophobia and Adolescent Health. This one is from the Journal of Nursing, UFPE. Looks as though this one also is in English, so we're in good shape. But this one is full text inside the database. So what have we done? We have said, let's limit to scholarly peer-reviewed. The only way I know to get integrative reviews is to add the term integrative reviews to your search. Now, let's go to advanced search and look at some different limits. Okay, so here's the search. It hasn't technically been run yet. We can rerun it. And there are many ways. Okay, one thing we could do is limit to English language. That would be useful. And then we can look at publication type. And how can we be sure? And you can see there are a lot of things here that are, there's a case study that could be useful, clinical trial that could be useful. But the most general thing you can ask for is research. You want to know that everything you're picking is research. So we're going to choose research, and we're going to compare it with our 907 scholarly peer-reviewed between 2015 and 2020. So we want English language, we want research, and we're going to get rid of the term integrative reviews. Let's just take that row away and go back to our original search. Okay, search. Okay, we have 1,721, but we have not yet placed Okay, 645. Now that's very interesting. So your yield for a research tag on the advanced search gives you actually fewer items than asking for scholarly peer-reviewed. Why is there a difference? One difference I can think of is that some scholarly and peer-reviewed articles are theoretical articles or informal reviews, that kind of thing, and therefore they would not be considered research. In this case, 645 of them, of these articles, fit their definition of research. Okay, if you have any further questions about using limits in CINAHL, please get in touch with me, Roberta Tipton, at tipton@rutgers.edu. Thanks for watching.